Welcome to the 9th AATF Technology Tuesday webinar. Today's presentation will be hosted by OMRON. Our webinar this morning is Traceability through Serialization. Enhance transparency in your supply chain. With counterfeiting of popular drugs and cosmetics now becoming a real issue, and after a number of high-profile food and beverage and automotive industry product recalls, companies across all sectors are coming under increasing pressure to provide improved consumer information and to implement improved inspection systems for product traceability. The traceability of goods throughout the production and distribution process can be a complex issue. Manufacturers and producers need systems that enable them to comply with local regulations regarding traceability, tax legislation, anti-counterfeit actions, and brand protection. Join us as we discuss the issues, solutions, and opportunities around traceability through serialization. Our presenters today are Vanna Das and Kotso Majwe. Vanna has a passion for systems engineering, focusing on the efficient programming of any automated system. He obtained his degree in electronic engineering from the University of Pretoria and has dedicated his career to the development of efficient and reliable vision systems. Our other panelist, Kotso, has worked in the engineering industry for more than 10 years, gaining experience in condition monitoring, machine vision, mining simulators, and software development. As a safety and sensing FAE, he is passionate about advancing in safety and automation solutions. Outside of the office, Kotso enjoys collecting and creating electronic music. I would like to remind the audience to feel free to use the question and answer facility at the bottom of your screen throughout the presentation, and they will be answered afterwards. Without further delay, we can now begin the presentation as I hand you over. Thank you.
Good day, everyone, and welcome to OMRON's Traceability through Serialization presentation. I am Vanna Das, and I will be presenting it to you today. The market isn't predictable anymore. The market is continuously changing and highly dynamic. Consumer behavior is changing as people become more connected. One size fits all no longer satisfies the market. Customized products becoming the new normal. Consumers demand and expect the latest and greatest, which in turn driving much shorter product life cycles. Consumers demand and expect the best, both in terms of quality and service. Operationally speaking, the question is, how do we address these elements? Realize highest quality, sustainability, and operational excellence. To do this, manufacturers must achieve value in a number of key areas. OMRON enables manufacturers to rapidly adapt to the market and environmental changes in the most productive and cost-efficient way, creating the future of manufacturing today. This is done through the three principles driven through automation. Intelligent is where we use smarter machines to increase efficiency. Integrated, having communications between all the machines to increase productivity. Interactive, using man and machine on the same production line. The automation solutions we develop are designed to address the operational challenges manufacturers face when striving for highest quality, sustainability, and operational excellence. These solutions are efficiency, flexibility, safety, security, connectivity, and quality, where we will focus on today. Quality are achieved through our integrated high-speed, high-resolution inspection systems, combined with technology to enable serialization and traceability to ensure error-free products and waste reduction. The challenge for manufacturers are how to harmonize all these external factors when they converge with manufacturing and their key business priorities: brand protection, sustainability, operational excellence, and ensure the investment required to ensure highest quality products with full traceability. OMRON's traceability through serialization. The regulations imposed by governments are getting more and more strict every day. Governments request manufacturers to track their products from where it's manufactured till where the consumer buys it. We find these regulations in almost all international companies. So why traceability and serialization matters? Well, first of all, the FDA requires it. It protects the consumer safety and keeps SARS happy. For anti-counterfeit and authenticity, by protect brand equity. For minimize recall and return risks by detecting the problem source faster. To extend the information to the customer by identifying the origin, ingredients, and allergens. For supply chain visibility, to track and trace products, optimize inventory of products and materials, and implement audit systems. For direct marketing, to personalize products and gather real-time information for the use and consumption. The serialization process in summary. The serialization software partner generates a unique code. Then the code is sent to the labeler using appropriate software. After that, the code is printed or etched onto the product. The data is sent back to the serialization software partner. Serialization software partner registers the data in their database under the custody of the brand owner. The product is then shipped to the customer or retailer via distribution centers, and every time the product is scanned, the location is checked. From the retailer, the consumer scans the product. The serialization software partner validates the code scanned to authenticate it. The consumer knows it's a genuine product, and the brand owner gets a report on which code is scanned in which location. A typical solution would look like the following. First of all, you would print the label, then verify the label with a camera, like at number 3 and 4, then reading that barcode, sending it back to the cloud, and then aggregate all of this into one palette where you can use a RFID tag, for instance. The impact when deciding for a serialization product must be evaluated, taking into account that the solution is simple, quick, and with a low total cost of ownership. Therefore, choosing the right technology partner is key for successful implementation. So why OMRON? OMRON offers a full turnkey solution when it comes to traceability. From scanning the product, controlling it, and sending the data to a database. All of this is done through our powerful SysMac platform. On the scanning side, OMRON offers a wide variety from basic barcode readers to high-end, high-speed AI systems. These products are easy to use, compact, modern appearance in design and usability. The camera that covers most of the portfolio is the FHV7 camera, the one you'll see here in the middle. Our latest camera launch, the FHV7, with its IP67 rating and best in class for speed and resolution, this camera has the ability to get most vision jobs done without a hassle. Its modular approach also helps with the consumer demands. The liquid lens just put the cherry on top with a perfect focus within 150 milliseconds. How OMRON technology is your key to a successful traceability and serialization project. OMRON's cameras read most barcode symbologies. With our vision systems, OCR fonts are teachable. Our RFID readers also helps with the robust packages. OMRON has two different types of offerings for traceability and serialization. Plug-in packages, modular, scalable, and easy-to-implement packages for existing lines or machines in every stage of the manufacturing process. Then we also got the complete solutions, fully embedded traceability for new lines or machines. A few familiar applications where South Africa were very thankful they had a traceable solution implemented. The sardines recall that could have caused fatal illness. Some of the cans were compromised during the source filling step on the production line, which could affect the safety of the consumers. The Cougar recall. Ford recalled 4,556 1.6-liter EcoBoost Ford Cougars that were produced between December 2012 and February 2014. This was because of a coolant loss. Ford rerouted the coolant line and replaced the affected components. Lastly, an everyday traceability example, the blood bank. Each qualified blood bag is affixed with a unique barcode or RFID tag with corresponding identifiable information such as blood type, the exact place where it is stored, collection date, and expiration date. From the donor to the final recipient, the movement of each blood bag is being tracked. All the data is being transmitted to the cloud in real time so that the hospital administrator have real-time visibility into the blood inventory. Thank you for your time. Please feel free to ask any questions, or if you want more information, email me.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for that very knowledgeable and short presentation. We will now be taking a few questions from the attendees for our presenters, which I'll be directing at Werner. So Werner, if you just want to get your camera up, there we go. The first question from the audience is, how does OMRON comply with FDA regulations?
So, so OMRON added an electronic auditing system to its FH camera system, and this helps the manufacturing line to comply with the FDA 21 CFR Part 11, which requires you to actually have an electronic record and digital signatures instead of paper-based documents. So with literally a tick of a box, you can add this auditing system to your camera system.
Oh, wow. Okay, so that sounds fairly simplified then.
Yep.
The other question from the audience is there an affiliation between OMRON and GS1 in terms of code reading?
Yeah, I think I would direct this one to Khotso. He will take this answer.
Hi. Can you hear me?
We can hear you, Khotso.
Yes, there is. OMRON is a contributor to GS1. So a good example is for code reading, we also provide verifiers for verification. So verification is a tool used to check the quality of the code that you are printing, where we will read. So at the moment, they are on version 1.19, where we are on 1.18. With the latest revision that we'll be releasing, we'll be moving directly with GS1. So whatever they do or what we do, it's aligned, whether it's driven by standards or driven by industry. That's how we've been doing it, yeah, for as long as GS1 has been around. So I don't know if it was clear or not.
Koto, thank you so much. You seem to have dropped off there towards the end just a little bit in terms of the sound coming through.
Okay.
But I think if anyone has any further questions, we'll just ask them to put them into the Q&A box so that we can answer them. We do have... So this FHV7 camera you just spoke about, what does high speed really mean? And secondly, what applications use this high speed?
So our FHV7, our latest launched camera, got a capturing speed of 2.3 milliseconds, and then the total time that it takes for the whole inspection can be a minimum of 12 milliseconds, which is best in its class when it comes to a compact camera and its speed. Yeah, then the typical applications would be like bottling and canning lines. There might be more, I reckon, in the pharma industry. There's also high-speed lines, but you know, any high-speed line, I can't think of any other lines.
Okay, good, thank you. Another question from the audience: can you store every image taken by the camera at this high speed? And if so, where can I store it?
So the storing of the images, OMRON created a new file or a new image format, the .ifz format. And with this new format, you can store an image within 100 milliseconds, where a normal JPEG would take you 200 milliseconds. We can store it in 100 milliseconds. And then the second part of the question, where can we store it? OMRON got its own, well, you can store it on the controller itself, so locally, or on a flash drive or a hard drive. But it's also really easy to set up a network drive and just push it onto the network. I must just say, watch out for flooding the network. We crashed a few networks before.
Okay, perfect. Then related to this, I suppose, can the cameras operate on a Wi-Fi network?
Yeah, I think I'll ask Khutso to answer this one.
Yes, they can operate. So if you look at HMIs and IPCs, off the shelf, they have a VNC, like a plug-in, ready to integrate with our automation system. So automation, what's this? VNC is like it's like a VPN, where you can dial in through VNC and remotely monitor or configure any parameters that you need to do on the camera via the IPC.
I can maybe add a little bit to that. So between the FH camera and its controller, because of the high speed, there's a physical cable, but from the controller, you can easily go through Ethernet IP or Wi-Fi and sending the images up, or even sending the judgment of if the images are correct or not. So yes, we can operate on Wi-Fi.
Well, that's good to know, I would suppose. Another question from the audience: what type of product or product data can I track?
Okay. Can I ask? Oh, okay. So if you've checked on your product, you can see an expiry date that's human readable, and you can see a barcode where a human can decipher what the code means. So the cameras are built with barcode reading abilities, and also something called OCR, optical character recognition. So that's what the human can read. So that's the type of data that we can read, what a human can read and what a machine can read, and we can verify if both of the data correlates to each other. And that same data then will be sent to a control database for humans to make decisions or for machines to make decisions based on that. So a typical information is what you'll find on a medicine bottle, where you'll find an expiry date or a pharma code or a certain symbology. So symbologies is what barcodes have. So with automotive, they'll use a 2D symbology, which for a human is not easy to read, but for a camera like a FH-V7 can decipher the manufacturing date and which operator actually worked on a car. So that's the type of data that you can find that the VH-V7 can read.
Okay, that's an awesome answer. Do you have anything to add to that, Werner?
Yeah, well, any type of product, if you can barcode it, you can track it, you can trace it. So yeah, OMRON are capable of reading most common barcodes. There might be one or two that we're not familiar with, but in most industries, we are part of some of the standards. So you don't have a problem tracking or tracing anything if you can add a barcode to it.
Fantastic. Interesting question from the audience. Do the cameras have AI capabilities?
So we just launched AI to our Super FH controllers. This does take a lot of computational power, and this is why we don't run it on the FH-V7, but only on our controllers, our upper end, high end controllers. And yeah, with these AI capabilities, we can detect small scratches on a very noisy image or noisy background. This gives us a little bit of an edge in the industry. And the setup of it, you don't need to be a genius per se. You don't need to program AI from scratch. It's pretty easy to set up, and literally just loading a library of pictures. And with these pictures, you train the system, and it takes a little while to train, but after you train it, it's got the AI capability of doing the searching of the fine scratches on a noisy image. The tool we're using for it, we call it the AI fine matching tool. So yeah, it's just a drag and drop tool and set it up from there.
Great. We have a question from Johan Meyer. Is there a difference between a smartphone camera and an industrial OMRON camera?
So that's an interesting one. The smartphone camera, so as everyone knows, usually your smartphone camera is around 12 megapixel, 16 megapixel. The latest cameras, they say it's over 100 megapixel. It is not a single camera that do 100 megapixel. It is multiple cameras that's 12 megapixel, 16. So typically your smart camera got high megapixel cameras with the idea of taking a picture with an enhanced look and feel to it, whereas your industrial camera would take a picture with the idea of speed and quality control. So on your smartphone, yes, you can read a barcode, but can you send this barcode to an industrial machine? You can, with a bit of struggle and programming, but I wouldn't recommend it. And that's where you would rather, in the industry, use industrial cameras that's lower megapixel, but its processing is faster. Its connection to the machine is faster. It's a secure system because you don't per se want your data to go into the public where you're busy with manufacturing. So industrial machines usually are secure within the factory, and that's where our industrial cameras comes in. We also got the AI capability, obviously, that's not on your smartphone. And the tools that's created on the industrial camera, you won't find that on a smartphone.
Nicely done. The last question we have here, and Johan May says, thank you very much for answering his question. The last question we have here is from Michael. Is there any image to text processing for serial numbers to be used to log the serial numbers in a CSV or Excel file?
Yeah.
So,
yes,
we can do that pretty easily. Like Khotso said, the OCR, so the optical character reading, you can literally take a picture of your receipt and read the numbers and the letters on it. And yes, you can log that as a data file. It's also really easy to set up on our FH systems. And yes, you can push all these serial numbers. It's the ideal application for our cameras.
Okay, good. I don't see any other questions from the audience. So I think that brings us to an end. I would just like to remind everyone that you can attend our next seminar next week. The details will be coming up on the screen with Shorrock on the 8th of September. And I would like to thank you, Werner and Khotso, and the OMRON team for an informative and knowledge sharing session. For any further information about the upcoming webinars on Tuesdays and Thursdays, please keep a lookout on our social media channels as well as the AATF website. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.